The Honourable Marion Street.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Well, I'm very pleased to rise and take a call in this debate. We are on Clause 6, and I would like to respond to the Minister's comments with the honesty that she requested. And my comments essentially go like this, Mr. Chairman, that Clause 6, which really contains all of the substantive parts of this legislation, reflect the fact that this bill is simply the result of flawed tactics on the part of the National Party. That's right. The flawed tactics of the National Party are that they have now found themselves backed into a corner by a minority party which is pursuing this bill on the basis, let me give the member credit, on the basis of some principled position, without considering, however, the practical outcomes of the legislation. And that is a travesty of this House's purpose. Of course, bills should be brought here on the basis of principle, and they should be submitted to a select committee and our democratic process for improvement. And that is what happened with this bill. But then for the National Party members of the Education Select Committee suddenly to fold their arms and say we are not going to have any more to do with this, with the arguments that are being put up by submitters, is a fault and an inadequacy on the part of tacticians in the National Party. And let me explain that a bit further, because in Clause 6, this is the bit where it says that membership of students' associations should be voluntary. Now, if Heather Roy has indeed brought this bill to the House on the basis of the neoliberal principles on which the ACT Party hangs its hat, then all credit to her. But for the National Party then to concur with a piece of legislation that is going to ruin part of the life of the student experience in New Zealand and the life of tertiary institutions is simply wrong. And it has meant that there has been insufficient thought applied to this by the National Party. So once they worked themselves into this position, Mr. Chair, of not being able to seek improvements or amendments to this bill, they have persisted in sitting as they are now, each of them to a person with their heads down, not looking, not engaging, because they know this is a failure on their part to stand up for legislation that is going to wreak havoc, that is going to cause something that is significant and contributing to tertiary education in this country to grind to a halt. It is a nonsense to say that this Clause 6, when we're looking at Section 229A and the amendment to that, where it says that membership of students' associations is to be voluntary, is going to benefit the student population or the tertiary experience or even the institutions in any way. Apart from that, there were almost no speakers in favour or submitters in favour of this legislation. Why has the National Party capitulated in this way to an imperfect bill that is going to have practical and pragmatic outcomes that are destructive? Why would it back itself into that position? Why has it still not had the courage? Not one of these people are able to say why they have changed their position, why they have not sought improvements, why they have not sought amendments to the bits that they might have agreed with. So if there are problems, Mrs. Roy, if there are problems with the way that students' associations have operated, if there have been problems with the fact that people have found it difficult at times to get themselves out of a students' association, then why not simply address those issues? Why cause this destruction? Because this is what this bill does, Mr. Chairman.
Chair, I call